Welcome today to our podcast series, Industry Influencers. I'm really thrilled today to have Jay Weintraub, who started InsurTech Connect over 4 years ago, join me in this podcast. Welcome, Jay.
Oh, thank you so much. It's great to be here.
So, Jay, a lot of people probably know you just if they've been at InsurTech Connect over the last few years, given the massive number of people there. But why don't you give a little background on yourself and why you all started InsurTech Connect over 4 years ago?
I'd be glad to. It's certainly been one of the best journeys that I've been on. So for the last decade, if there is a term called an event entrepreneur, I guess that probably best describes me. I am someone that believes passionately in the magic when people come together. And I had been, interested in insurance for a number of years, but really couldn't figure out the best way to create something, as an event for the industry. And until I was introduced in, almost this time, in 2015 to Caribou Honig. And so Caribou, my partner in InsurTech Connect, was a fintech VC who was saying, I'm really interested in this thing called InsurTech, or is it InsTech, or is it Insurance Tech? Oh, I don't know what it's called, but there's something here, but gee, I can't find a place to go. Yeah. So, and by the way, yes, that does lead into why our spelling is different. Okay. So that is exactly what happened. We get together and I go, hey, I want to bring people together in insurance. And he goes, hey, I want to bring people together in insurance. It's either going to be a great conversation or a really bad one. And luckily, it was a great conversation. That is the, sort of the start of our journey.
Yeah, that was right when InsurTech was really kind of in 2015 when things started to kind of emerge into the marketplace. The whole kind of terminology entered the people's minds. And during 2016, it really kind of came with a full force, so to speak. And we were lucky enough to begin working together at your first InsurTech Connect event in Vegas. And what was really interesting is I had, started to get us involved in a number of InsurTech things between some work that Coverager was doing and some work that Silicon Valley Insurance Accelerator was doing and the Global Insurance Accelerator. And I remember you guys kind of coming out and we decided to sponsor and to put up a booth there at your first event, which was fabulous. But it was really funny. We were the only core system vendor there that first year. I remember thinking, wow, I wonder how many people are going to show up. And then it was like 1,700 people and we were just like blown away. So, as you started the event over 4 years ago, how has InsurTech and your event impacted the industry? And what parallels do you see for insurance from other industries that have been disrupted, Jay?
Well, when we look at how we might describe ourselves, I think aspirationally we think about it as a catalyst. And when we think about being a catalyst, it's, and our measure of success is not, oh, hey, look, our first year was, 1,700 people and this year was 7,000 people. It's really the stories of who met whom and how have policyholders' lives been kind of impacted. One of our favorite, sort of like stories is a company called Hover, and they come in the very first year. They had been working sort of in the military. We're trying to think about going into commercializing, sort of their technology. And lo and behold, they meet American Family Ventures. American Family Ventures becomes their first investor. And, in 2017, they end up meeting Travelers. And Travelers then becomes a client. 2018, Travelers becomes their biggest client. 2019, Travelers calls us up and says, we want, our head of claims to get on stage to essentially talk about how InsurTech, most specifically Hover in this case, has actually been making a difference in our policyholders' lives. And so that's for us, this idea that, what started out as kind of, you might almost jokingly refer to as a dog park, like people walking around going, what is this thing? Is it for real? I don't know. And then that actually creating real meaningful interactions, that for us is the ultimate goal. And that's kind of what we think about as we try to progress every year.
Yeah. I remember, and I wrote a blog about it coming back from InsurTech this year. 4 years ago, I remember the stages were filled with tech and insurance startups, about like Lemonade and Ring and others. And what was really great this year is that we continue to see those startups, and we've seen, to your point, their maturity and they're working with incumbent insurers. But what was really exciting this year is to hear so many incumbent insurers talking about how they're innovating, how they're starting a greenfield, how they're working with insurtech technology companies, talking about, new customer experiences and new innovative products, from on-demand to cyber to paramedic and a whole bunch of other things. And so the ideas and there's limitless opportunities and possibilities that I think finally it's kind of like a merging of all this new stuff with all this traditional stuff and finding a way to coexist in a really positive way, to your point. So as you kind of look at, that journey that you guys have been on, what do you see about the future of insurance? And what did you take away from this year that was, kind of a new idea or a thought process that's going to kind of help move the industry forward over the next few years?
Well, it is, anytime I get to say that the future of insurance is insurtech, I'm going to say it. Like anytime someone says, what's the biggest trend? Insurtech is the trend. And as much as I say that in, with a slight smile on my face, I truly mean it, because it's sort of more than anything, it's technology enabled, but I think it's mindset driven. And, to your point, our job and where we have to push ourselves is saying, we will always sprinkle the disruption dust. I think without that disruption dust, it creates a sense of urgency, and that I can't get too comfortable, and it pushes people to be a little bit uncomfortable and do things they might not normally. But it's just a little bit of that dust. And otherwise, it's really about, and you guys have always done this, sort of so well, it's saying, what is it that we can do, sort of like now faster? And how is that going to make, sort of a difference? And that's why when we program our event, we try to separate, sort of the today, let's make a difference in the, sort of near term, and then, but let's look around the corner. And, so we have to be very deliberate. If it's too much looking around the corner, and we had an entire thing around autonomous vehicles, it's very different than someone that's saying, I want to stand up a new program in a new geography. And how do I do that without, sort of breaking my existing, sort of business infrastructure?
I'm just working on a new report, our future trends report that we try to do annually. I was doing a little bit of research around insurtech, with regard to the investments, and it's pretty amazing, Jay. It just came out actually in InsurTech News today, I believe it was. The funding through Q3 of 2019, Q3 was another $2.1 billion. Already through Q3, it's more than any of the previous years, and we haven't even finished the year yet. So this kind of like dramatic increase in insurtech investments just kind of continues. But what's interesting is that investing in existing insurtechs that are really beginning to mature, but it's also still on the other. And I thought what was really exciting, because some of these people were on your stage those early years, were the insurtech unicorns. We've got 6 unicorns now in the insurtech space. Root, Lemonade, Clover Health, Hippo, Policy Bazaar, and Next Insurance. And some of them were on your stages in those first early years. That has to be kind of exciting.
It is. It is. I was about to add on and to that, but you're right. That I think what is among the most sort of gratifying things is, and I was having a conversation this morning with one of our speakers who was there at the very first year, and he moved from being client sort of side in a strategy role to basically being someone that said, as much as I like being embedded in a global insurer, what I really enjoy is connecting the dots between global insurer and startup. Like this idea, and it was the folks at New York Life that proposed a topic that was called, how to speak incumbent, which I thought was a great thing. And it came from their experience of they're very active in doing tests. And they realized, not only I think, and this gets back to the point about the funding, not only are some of the best insurtechs not technically insurtech, it's just great technologies, but so many of these companies, even now, 4 years, 5 years later, they still don't really get the insurance industry. And that's a constant reminder for us, is to make sure that, to sort of increase the fluency so that the friction in this ecosystem can continue to sort of be less and less.
Absolutely. So, you talk about ecosystems a little bit. So, you guys have really helped kind of develop out a whole ecosystem of these insurtechs. And, one of the great things is down that middle aisle is all these little stands of all the insurtech startups that are there. And then, the speed dating, so to speak, that we all do with people. So as you've kind of evolved this over the last 4 years, where do you see this whole concept of ecosystems going, and from a next gen standpoint, and fit into really kind of innovating insurance from an insurtech standpoint?
I will say that I'm glad you liked the sort of the aisle full of the startups, because literally before I had a chance to talk to you, we're looking at the floor plan for next year and saying, was that a good idea? Was it not a good idea? People don't actually say, gee, we really love the fact that you could walk by and see all of these startups that are there. So we were thinking, so I actually thank you very much for that. And, the speed dating, as you call it, is also one of the things that, I think we believe is critical. So when I look at, what we think of ourselves or aspirationally as an ecosystem and as a platform. And I do believe that as we get bigger, our core job is to make it feel smaller. And I think that technology is going to play a role in that. That's why we've invested so heavily in our own, kind of technology. So looking for ways to help people build personalized agendas, looking for ways to help people navigate a hall. And whether that's some human touch like expo tours, to potentially having access to sort of concierges to answer questions, we want to make this, it only works, this show, if those sort of serendipity happens faster. So that remains for us, kind of being creators of serendipity is one of the things that we have to keep our eye on also.
Yeah, I love that. Creators of serendipity. Where do you see InsurTech Connect over the next 3 years? Say, you guys have had quite an amazing growth, starting out with that 1,700 to over 7,000 this year. Where do you see, say in 3 years, where do you see InsurTech Connect being? Because you guys have really become the event of the industry. 10 years ago, it was Accord. 5 years ago, it was IASA. Today, it's InsurTech Connect. How do you keep that focus and keep that growth there and keep that excitement, particularly with the large numbers, to be able to make it feel like it's large and you have a lot to pick from, but that it really is that personalized view, Jay?
Well, I know where we're going to be in June of 2020, and that's in Singapore. So I certainly hope that people who are interested in the broader Asia Pacific growth that is there. So geographic expansion and connecting the world further is certainly on kind of our 3-year, 4-year roadmap. And if we look at where we want to be in, sort of 3 or 4 years, it's the feeling that people have when they leave InsurTech Connect today. It's what are the creators of that feeling, and how do we make sure that happens? And I think for us, there's a combination. Hey, there's qualitative things that have to happen, and there's quantitative things. I don't discount the sense of almost inspiration and enthusiasm. I feel like our day jobs are really, really hard. And insurance in many ways is a thankless industry because it's behind the scenes and it's used when people, sort of are, they pay for something that you hope they never use. So being able to come to our event and feel like I matter, and then being able to walk away saying, I know how to make even greater impact is huge. And we think about what are some of the factors of that. And, for us, it's InsurTech is about serving insurance. We are first and foremost an insurance industry show. And then we're about, sort of the continued transformation. We think about where we are today in transformation. It's not a 5-year time horizon or a 10-year. It's perpetual, sort of transformation. So being a place that continues to push us as an industry to get better, serve clients better, that'll always be, sort of our North Star, and making sure that the most relevant thought leaders, the most relevant companies, and the best partners are there and at people's accessible. That is where we are today, and, where we will continue to sort of be in the future.
That's great, Jay. As I think about it, it's really an exciting and pivotal time for the industry. It's a time of limitless opportunities, as I said previously. But to kind of capture those opportunities, people have to be bold and visionary, and they really do have to rethink and reimagine a future that creates greater value for a changing set of customers, with millennials and Gen Zs now within the next 5 years becoming the predominant buying force. They were born and grew up digital, and they have a whole different kind of expectation. And 5 years seems like a long time, but it's not. I look back at when you guys started, when InsurTech started, that was 5 years ago. And look where we are now. That time, it seems like yesterday, but that time went by so very, very fast.
I absolutely agree with you. It is kind of shocking how much faster the time seems to go by. And, certainly if we look back at 2016 and we think about today, it's funny, you made your joke about being the only core system, kind of like company there. And part of, I think, what has played out is, you can have these, some people call cute business models, and you could have these kind of like revolutionary products. And yet at the end of the day, right, you still need something to help you run your business. And so I think what we see is, as much as there's some really great opportunities in InsurTech to change the world, how do you help farmers in sub-Saharan Africa? How do you make, how do you help people in catastrophic loss get back on their feet faster? For as much as that, you still can't discount the fact that you need something to run your business off of, or you need a way to distribute, sort of like your product, or you need to be compliant. So it really is the basics of blocking and tackling probably matter as much, if not more. And so seeing people being more grounded in what does it mean to be in insurance has been, I think, fun, sort of like for us.
I couldn't agree more. So if you could pick one word or a phrase to describe the future of insurance, what would it be, Jay?
Exciting. I went with the one word. Is that not enough? Is that not enough? I can do more.
No, yes. Describe why you say exciting.
Well, you think about, it is not often that we collectively get to wake up every day and have a chance to shape our future and to be a part of helping kind of shape legacy. I mean, insurance is such an amazing industry in that it's hundreds of years old, and it is going to continue to be thousands of years old. And you think about, insurance is sometimes the differentiator between developing worlds and developed world. And the fact that this sort of staple of life, of commerce, of journey, that A, we get to be a part of that in some way, shape, or form. And that B, like, we actually have the industry from the boardroom on down thinking about how do we do it better, and how are we relevant? And that it isn't just a fringe movement of people that say, we got to do better, we got to do better. It's, it's almost everybody that says, yes, we have to do better. So that it's not everyone that gets to be in an industry that big and in a time like this. So that, for me, that is exciting.
Well, thanks, Jay, for your time today, and for you and Caribou's leadership at really bringing this event to the forefront for the industry and bringing us all together, from the traditional side to the new InsurTech side, and really together trying to find a path forward for the future of insurance. Appreciate it so very much, and we love working with you guys and look forward to next year.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for believing in us. I feel like we are an InsurTech story of our own. Two people with an idea who didn't know that much about insurance, and you've sort of embraced us and been there. So we can't wait to see you September 21st through 23rd of 2020.
All right. Sounds great, Jay. Thanks so much.